Now, Ivory Park residents near Tembisa and Midrand have been relocated to a temporary shelter after flash floods on Friday night. One person unfortunately passed away and 3 others are missing after being washed away by floodwaters. Over 150 people have been displaced after 38 homes were demolished. Tapiwa Marima from the Gift of the Givers says they're making provisions for people to have food and shelter.
So since yesterday, we managed to work with disaster management from both angles, from the municipality of Ekurhuleni and of City of Joburg. So we managed to put people in our base shelters, and we also managed to provide hot meals. At this current moment, as we are talking, there's a team on the ground that is helping out to set up beds and making sure that everyone has got a sponge to sleep on, a warm meal for lunch, and also we are going to be able to provide food for the babies that were all affected by the disaster.
Now, Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi returned to Hoërskool Jan Viljoen in Randfontein to meet parents following racism allegations at the school. A teacher has also been suspended after sexual harassment allegations. eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones is following that story and joins us now. Good afternoon again, Pule. So we heard a bit of what the MEC had to say, which was following his interaction with teachers as well as learners. Quite a lot of disturbing stuff coming out of those engagements. What else did the MEC have to say?
Well, the MEC had quite a lot of issues he had to tackle, particularly behind the division of parents being, near the racial lines. And of course, what we've also witnessed now is that the MEC said that their probe nearing, or rather looking into sexual harassment and misconduct in the school where a teacher was allegedly involved. And of course, the racism in school is currently being probed as well by the authorities. But most importantly, asking that parents come together, in fact, and ensure that this begins at home, where their children must be educated in terms of how it is wrong to actually embrace and of course encourage racism within schools. But of course we have other parents as well who believe that they're saying this was largely politicized. They're saying there was no the incident was not racially motivated and that kids are being kids. But let's get their views currently right now regarding this incident. Thank you very much for joining me, Willem. Now, you're one of those who are saying this matter was politicized. Maybe if you could just give us your stance on this issue.
Oh, thank you, Pule. So about 185 of the parents at the school, should I take the microphone?
Hold it.
Okay. So about 185 parents at the school mandated me to speak on their behalf because they believe that MEC Lesufi is looking for low-hanging fruit that he can use in order to rile up emotion and rile up tension. They're basically saying he's trying to be a demagogue here. And what these parents want is they want their kids to get a quality education and they want their kids to feel safe at the school. Now, with regards to the racial incident, I'm not involved with the actual case and the merit of the case. There is not, from my side, an opinion on whether it's racial or not, but from the parents' side, there's the opinion of whether this incident, specific incident, is racial or not. It is the school and the teachers' responsibility to ensure quality education for their children and to ensure the safety of their children. There have been numerous threats that they've documented and that they've shown me, kids sending photos of knives that they are taking to school, which they claim or which they threaten to stab other kids with, kids threatening girls, especially young girls, because many of these parents talk to me and they tell me, listen, I've got a kid in the school, she's a young girl, she can't go out on break alone, she can't sit with a friend, she needs to hide behind some of the boys because she feels so threatened to be assaulted, as you said, sexually assaulted as well as physically assaulted. And this is the duty of the teachers in the school and the governing body to ensure these things. Now, the problem with a school like this is the parents here in these rural schools don't really understand the concept of how the governing body works. When I talk to them, I ask them, so at the last governing body election, what happened there? Because they are very, very angry about the leader of the governing body, and they say he does not represent them, and they say he's not doing his job at all. So I asked them, so what happened there? And they told me only 9 parents were there. And I said, well, that's not a quorum. You can't vote for a governing body of a school on 9 parents' votes. But the fact that I'm trying to get across here is that we need to ensure and we need to empower these parents, tell them exactly what their rights are, and explain to them, listen, you guys guys are the ones with the power here according to law. You guys are, as a governing body of the school, empowered above any of the teachers, above the headmaster, and also, quite frankly, above MEC Lesufi in this case, because your kids are the top priority at the school, and so they wanted me to make this point very clear, and specifically to tell Mr. Lesufi that he can't jump on cases like this to score cheap political points. He can't jump on cases like this and come and blast ANC rhetoric, because this isn't an ANC school, this is the community school.
Now, just quickly there, some of the parents that have come to you complaining about some of these issues, have they raised issues of racism that is brewing in the school? And secondly, you are being accused of being a vigilante group which is stirring division in these school premises through these children.
I'm sorry, can you just explain to me which group is specifically accused of being a vigilante group?
Your group.
My group? Which group is that?
The group of parents who are outside not attending the meeting.
Well, that's not the only parents that I represent. As I said, there were only about 60 outside. I represent 185. Many of them don't even want to come to the meeting because they say it's not going to help them at all, because they're just going to listen to Mr. Lesufi's ANC rhetoric. So, yeah, I have absolutely no comment on any vigilantism, because in the first place, I haven't seen any vigilantism. Can you tell me what the definition specifically of vigilantism is? And then we ask each other if whatever you say happened fits that definition.
Okay, so you're saying you're not the part of that group,
No, I'm not part of any group. I'm asking you, what is your definition of vigilantism?
I'm asking you a question that there are parents who are complaining that there's racism taking place in the school. And your parents that you represent were not part of the meeting, which was supposed to be part of the solution that would have resolved the issues that are here. But you're having parallel meetings outside the school, and you're sending a parallel message during these meetings that are taking place. Don't you think that's a bit disingenuous as well?
Okay, so I'm first going to answer your previous question about vigilantism, and I'm going to answer the part about the definition myself. So the definition of vigilantism is when people use violence in order to get a point across when they feel like a crime has been committed. So in other words, if they feel a crime has been committed, they resolve to violence to punish the individual which they feel is guilty of this crime. So I have, and this is my opinion on the vigilantism, I haven't seen a single instance of violence, and I've been here 2 days, I haven't been here the entire time. I haven't seen a single case of violence from the parent side towards anyone, not towards the kids, not towards the teachers. The only violence that I've seen came from the EFF and the guys that was here on Monday, that the Bittereinders, who Devin and them were here, they actually had to protect the school children from the EFF. Okay. So I think it's highly disingenuous to accuse the parents of vigilantism, which is violence, when they never commit violence, when the EFF were the ones that commit the violence at the school.
Thanks for your time. I'm really out of time, but we'll continue the discussion. Just quickly, Mfuna, I know you need to go back to studio, but I just need to give an opportunity to hear their side of the voice as well, parents over here. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, clearly there was a meeting that took place, and there seems to be as well some sort of division, some parents attending, some parents not attending. You are concerned about the issues that are taking place at the school. Maybe if you can just shed light on that quickly.
Give thanks for this moment through the powers of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie Christ himself. In this time with school and children and colored people and all peoples, now is no more time for war. We must break down all the war barriers. We must find all the good solution that we can come together. All churches and all people must come together at this moment of time, that Africa can be free, because Africa is still in slavery. So I as Rastafari would like to see nothing but positive, good things, positive things, and all the good things that Africa one day might can have one united flags. Like America will be united America. We have to control our destiny with the whole family, with all Rastafari. So I would like, whatever we're going to say, the son can say a few words too, you know. But
yes, give thanks.
Give thanks.
Well, the MEC, we appreciate love is coming together, and we want to say that the road is still far. But the scourge of racial discrimination is slowly but surely fading away. So it's still there, systematical racism is still alive and kicking in South Africa. But we want to take a stand and say no more war. President Honorable Nelson Mandela said peace in South Africa. The Archbishop Desmond Tutu, may he rest in power. as the chairman of the Human Rights Commission, said let there be peace. So we are glad that the Honorable MEC has handed over the issues to the human rights. And we will be extending a call to them to say, we want peace in our land. We want a bright future for our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. There, Nofundo, I had to stretch that a bit. I do understand that we're currently out of time, but there still seems to be a lot of issues here, which the MEC, of course, has detailed to say will be looking into. Parents, of course, also coming to the board saying that this will have to be a journey that will have to be embarked on, not only by government officials, but by parents coming together to ensure that these children are not subjected to such challenges when coming to school, and these issues may also be resolved at home before becoming school issues that have to be resolved here in the premises here in schools.
Clearly sounds like there are a lot of issues there, Pule. I mean, just listening to the first guest who was representing 185 parents, I mean, I could hear there that he's quite still emotional and attributing at least what the MEC was saying there to perhaps ANC rhetoric, or reducing it to ANC rhetoric. Clearly very concerning that there is politicization or assumptions that what was done today was not government work, but possibly the political work of the MEC. Very, very disturbing there. But thank you very much. That's our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones.